They're releasing GTA 5 for the third time. It can't get worse than that, right? Right? Let's talk about the PS5 experience of the GTA Trilogy remaster that dropped on the PS5 and many other platforms. And starting with the visual performance and the presentation of the game, all run at 4K up to 60 frames per second. But to be fair, that's how the game was promoted. It was written in the article and it kind of raised my eyebrow. Like, that's about the PS4, right? Up to 60 on the PS4, because my powerful PS5 will like it at 60 frames, right? Apparently not. But this definitely has to do with the fact that this released on every single console created ever since 1967. So GTA 3 runs at 4K, usually playing between 45 and 60 frames per second, with drops to 30 frames per second. Yes, you're supposed to get up to 60, but it dips down to 30 in extreme scenarios. GTA Vice City runs with a better frame rate, dropping less, but however, you're still getting dropped frames. But it runs a lot better than GTA 3 though. GTA San Andreas runs the best at mostly between 50 and 60 frames per second. You're still getting drops to 40, which is kind of noticeable. In some areas, your naked eye can clearly see when the frame drops. I noticed a pattern where the frame drops are usually during nighttime, which is kind of odd. And also when you're driving fast and you take a sharp turn, the frame rate dips, which is also odd. But at least we can pinpoint where this happens. So maybe they know what the problem is and they can give us an update soon if they feel like it. Because honestly, it feels like they didn't feel like making this remaster at all. Aside from that, the games do look great. It's not ray traced, but I really like the lighting in the game. Some people said it was overexposed or whatever, but I don't think so. Car models and buildings look a lot better. Liberty City's population is more dense than Vice City and San Andreas, but I wish they were all like that. But even walking around in these cities feel nice, but of course you won't be doing that much in a GTA game. Now, of course, there's a lot of issues with the NPC models. Some of them look even worse than the original. I have no idea how you can achieve worse 20 years later, but they gotta impress us somehow, right? Weather effects in the game are okay except for the rain. It looks like a cheap filter you can get for your videos off a free app on your BlackBerry, but even the filter is broken because the rain somehow avoids bodies of water. But I mean, if that's what you're into, then suit yourself. This isn't much of an issue in Vice City because as long as there is light, the effect is not severe. But when it gets dark in Liberty City and San Andreas, just go to sleep at the safe house so you can save your vision. The rain barely lasts 2 to 3 minutes, so you can kind of just go grab a snack and come back, but you really shouldn't have to do that. But at the end of the day, me personally, I don't mind these visual bugs, I guess you would call them, because this is a PS2 remaster, not even a remake. And how often do you hear of a PS2 remaster? Usually when a game is 20 years old, they go back and remake it, not remaster it. But yeah, besides visual performance, we don't really have much more to talk about because, for example, activity cards don't exist in this game. It would have been nice to jump right into the game through an activity card for the PS5, but are you really expecting minimal effort from these developers, you blood-sucking mosquito? And a way bigger disappointment was not seeing haptic feedback. Bro, a PS5 game with no haptic feedback is not a PS5 game. What you mean engineers at Sony spent years developing these haptics for the PS5 and you as a developer choose to ignore it when all your lazy ass gotta do is implement the haptics through a software given to you? I don't know, man, but this haptics thing is not a gimmick. Like, it really improves the experience of the game and playing without it feels hollow. However, if you was hoping for 3D audio, let me crush your hopes even some more. The audio here is basically the PS2 audio overcompressed. Apparently they couldn't find the original files, so they thought they did a trick with the PS2 audio, but as long as you have some ears, you'd know that a $40 USB microphone off of Amazon could give you better results than that. But man, not even the loading times are impressive. Now, unless you are a hardcore fan of this series, I cannot recommend this. I am personally enjoying it for nostalgic purposes. I like the vibe of a PS2 environment, and I also had the lowest amount of expectations when I saw that this thing was coming on the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, and PC and Switch, and later Android and iOS. Like, really, it's just the PSP and the Nintendo DS that didn't get it. Check your Motorola flip phone, it might have it too. Honestly, if they focused on next gen and PC, this would have been a much better release. But of course, if your name is not Insomnia Games, you will pick the extra money over your fan satisfaction, even if your release was gonna make you millions of dollars regardless. If you really want this, I'd say wait for updates for the game to be eventually polished. Perhaps they'd even include haptics in the future, but I really doubt that. Thank you for watching. Like if you're liking the sub would be nice. Amen. A 20-year-old game that can't run at 60 frames per second on the PS5. Later.